Alright, in this video we're going to look at the black hole animation that I did back in May of this year, and this animation is available on the Dark Skittles APK on the Play Store. However, if you open that up, look at the number global variables, look at the coding and all that stuff, I had a lot going on. I've actually, I think there's a way I can simplify quite a bit of this, and that's what I'm going to show you in this tutorial. Having a look at it, we're going to pretty much recreate almost the exact same thing. Some things might be a little bit different, but not much. So here's the animation that we're going to create here. Some dots that do some stuff. They scroll, they scale out, they rotate, they scroll again, and then they fall. And then we can reverse those animations as well. So we're going to do all of that in this tutorial. To simplify things or speed things up, I have already created one piece for you, and that's what I have right here. If I play this, well, first of all, that thing needs to reset. So let me just cut that off because I'm going to have to show you how to reset all this stuff too. All right, let's try it now. So boom, 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 and boom. Now you may notice that we have a bigger circle with the red circle inside of it. If I save this, go back to the home screen, as you can see there are two circles, and this is an overlap group that we're going to create here. Now to get rid of that big circle, I have a global variable, and I'm going to go through all these globals with you as well, but if I come in here and set this clear thing to be completely transparent, tap on that, and now let me save this and go back to the home screen. Now we're going to see just the red. So that's what we have going on for the red one. Now, going through each global with you, here's what we're going to add a few more too as we go through this, by the way, but nonetheless, we have the clear. That's just there for guidance. You don't even really need it there, to be quite honest with you. We have our red for that one. We're going to create some more colors in a moment. You need an on-off switch to trigger the animation. And then we have some number globals. Numrot is just the number of rotations. As you noticed at the beginning, this red circle was rotating. I'll show you how to use that right here in a little while. SAR, that's one of these globals over here. These are the four important ones if you ask me. These are going to be the length of time, the duration of each animation that we have. So SAR stands for scale and rotate, because if you recall at the beginning of this animation, it does two things. The circle, that red circle, is going to scale and rotate. Did you notice that? And then we have all this other stuff going on. So that's what SAR stands for. That's going to be the length of time. Right now I have it set to 1 second. CENSCR, this one right here, that's center scroll. It's a number global variable. Basically, this is going to be how long it takes for it after it rotates and scales at the beginning. So after it does this little thing, boom, that right there. That center scroll, that's what I'm calling that. All right, then we have another number global variable, horizontal scroll. That's how long it's going to take it to go from the center out to here. So if I do boom, boom, that right there, that's horizontal scroll. And then we have fall. As you can see, it did fall. That's the GV fall. I have it lasting for half a second. So we got like 1 second for, that 10 stands for 1 second, by the way. That stands for the scale and rotate. The center scroll, let me slide that out. The center scroll is how long it takes it to scroll back to the center. The horizontal scroll is how long it takes it to go out to here. And then the fall is how long it takes it to fall. All right, let's go through each animation inside of the first one that I've created. So I have a red overlap group. This is the buttons just out there at the top. Create whatever you want to trigger your animation, but that's not important here. The red overlap group, we have a big and we have a small. The big is the big circle that you saw that I had that clear global color global variable applied to. I made it 360. Now you don't want to apply number global variables to this, because if you go changing the size, you're going to have to change a whole bunch of other pieces as well, and it can get real confusing. So go ahead and figure out a size that you want your big circle to be. Basically that's going to be the one that this red circle sits inside of. It was that gray, that transparent kind of white circle you saw earlier. I made it 360, and then the small is going to be actually this little red circle that we have here, and I made it 60. So paint, I have it applied for the red color, and then the position, I have it positioned at the top of that overlap group. Therefore, you had that big circle, and I don't know if you noticed, but the red circle kind of sat at the top as that big circle did its animating, because we have all of this stuff sitting inside of this red overlap group. So under animation, these are the animations that we're going to have to use. I got scale out. So let's go through each piece individually. So global switch right here, scale out. Here's the first one that we have going on. Everything's going to react on that button, that global switch go. So scale out inverted. Here's what this is going to do. Boom. That's what this animation does. It's going to scale it out. So as you can see, that's all we have going on there. I have it inverted. That way it's initially zoomed all the way, it's scaled down tiny, and then it scales out, and we're doing this inverted. That way it brings it out to you when you press the button. I have it anchored as module center, and then the length of time is GVSAR. So that's going to be the scale and rotate. I want the same duration to be, I want that to be the same for both the scale that we have coming out and the rotation that we're going to apply in a moment. So that's it for that one. No delays yet because I haven't talked about reversing the animation. All right. For rotate, global switch rotate. Again, same global switch, rotate normal, module center, and then the duration here for this one is going to be GVSAR as well because I want it to scale and rotate at the beginning for the same length of time. However, something else different for this one is the amount. This is going to be the amount, the number of rotations. So 100 represents one full rotation, and that GV numrot that I had at the beginning, whatever we have it set to, that's how many rotations. So obviously I got GV numrot set to 3 because 3 times 100 gives us 300. So it's going to do 3 full rotations as it scales out because I have both of those things. The duration for both of those is GVSAR. Now the delay on that, there is no delay yet. Ignore what these numbers say. You have to really pay attention to what's inside of here, and I've mentioned that in a couple of videos. No delay set on that yet. So let's just kind of look and see what that animation is going to do. I need to back out. So let me go through each one individually. Scale out, boom. Okay. Now with that scaled out, it's going to also do this thing at the same time. It's going to scale and rotate. And I don't know if you noticed, but it did 3 full rotations. What's it going to do after that? Then it's going to scroll back to the center. So if I play this animation, it should scroll to the center. Boom. Now how do I get that to work? This is a little bit of fine tuning. First of all, the duration. GV sin scroll, the center scroll, that's going to be how long it takes to scroll to the center. The speed you're going to have to fine tune. The angle is 90 degrees because I want this thing to scroll down, and it took away my picture, but oh well. The speed's what you're going to have to fine tune. And let me show you how you can fine tune that. Before I do that, go to delay. We want this thing to scroll to the center after it's completed the GVSAR, which is the scale and rotate number global variable. So we're not going to scroll back to the center until this is completed, which is right now just 10, which is 1 second. I hope that makes sense. Now, how do we fine tune that? Why do I have speed set to 21? Well, I'm going to come back to my root. I'm going to add a shape. And I'm going to make this shape a circle, and I'm going to make it the same size as my small red piece, which was 60. And I'm going to position this in the center. This is going to be a guide for me to make sure that our speed, and to ensure that that red circle, as it rotates and does its thing, we want to make sure that it comes back right here behind this white circle. That way we can ensure that it's getting back to the center of our screen. So this that I have here, this shape is just to serve as a template to make sure I'm going right back to the center. So let me go through these animations again up to where I scroll to the center. That way we can see everything. So first thing, it's going to scale out, and remember that it's going to be doing 2 things right here at the beginning. It's going to be scaling out and doing the rotate. So let me go ahead and show you the rotate again. All right, and then after that, we want it to scroll to center. So that's going to be this one here. So remember, this is going to be GV sin scroll. Now speed, watch this. So if I press play, notice as this thing plays, it goes right behind. But if I go back to like 15, for example, it's not going to go far enough. And I probably lost the animation again. Well, let me show you. Well, now that I have this set to 15, it's going to do all this stuff, and it's going to scroll to right about here. It's not going to come back to the dead center. See that? And if I fine tune this, let me go up to 18, it's going to get a little bit closer to the center. See how it's getting a little bit closer? And let me go to 21. That's where it's close enough. So boom, Now, there we go. See how it went to the center? So that's what I had to do there for that one. That's the scroll center. Then what do we want to happen after we scroll to the center? We want to do a horizontal scroll. So there's GV horizontal scroll. That's going to be this one here. Scroll. Its angle needs to be 0 because I want it to go this way. Speed's 45. What's the duration? GV horizontal scroll. That's how long it's going to take to go from here to here. 1.5 seconds. And let's see, fine tuning the speed. You can fine tune this to see how far you want it to go out. I recommend picking something that you can divide by 3 relatively easy, and I'll explain that as we create the other pieces. All right, now if I bump this to like, let me bump this down to 10. Watch this. So here's our animation. It's not going to go nowhere near. Look at that. It went just that far. So I had that set to 45. That's going to put it close to the edge of the screen, if not right at the edge. But you have to fine tune that to your liking. So let's have a look now that I have speed set to 45. It should come way over here. Boom. And then it's going to fall. So the last animation is going to be the scroll where we are going to fall. And I have it set to bounce. Its duration is going to be GV fall. And what I forgot to mention about the horizontal scroll, sorry about that, but the horizontal scroll, the one that we're doing from here to here, we do have a delay on it too. Its delay is going to be, we got to wait for it to scale and rotate, and so plus, we have to wait for it to scroll to the center. Before we do the horizontal scroll, we have to let it scale and rotate, then we have to let it scroll to the center, and then we want it to horizontal scroll. So that's the delay. That is the delay you need to apply to that animation. All right, and then now the fall. So the fall is going to be a bounce, as I mentioned. The duration is going to be GV fall. That's how long we want it to take to fall, which is this right here. And its speed, fine-tune the speed to get it to where it falls to the bottom. 84 is what worked for me. The angle is 90 degrees. And then the delay, we have to wait for it to scale and rotate. We have to wait for it to scroll to the center. And then we have to wait for it to do a horizontal scroll. So hopefully you're getting the idea here with delays. And I've done a couple of tutorials on that as well. But we don't want it to fall until it's done the scale and rotate, the center scroll, and the horizontal scroll. So that's what I put inside of my delay. Now that I've gone through those pieces, I think I've covered everything in here. Let's add another one and do some fine tuning to this, but we have to remember a few pieces. So to save a little bit of time, what I'm going to do, this is actually a good idea. I'll tell you what, I don't want to do that yet. What I want to do, I want to go ahead and talk about reversing this animation. So let me save this, go back to the home screen. Here's our animation with when the global switch is on, but watch what happens when I cut it off. It doesn't reverse this stuff. So that's what I want to focus on now, is reversing, because now if I go back and cut it on, it's going to do everything fine for all this, but I want it to reverse. So I want to go boom, boom, and then do some type of whatever it does to go back. Well, let's go through each piece individually. So going into KLWP, I'm going to go to that overlap group where all these animations are. And now to reverse this, here's what we're going to have to do. For a global switch scale out, remember there was no delay at the very beginning. Well, actually, when we cut the global switch off, we want that to be the last thing it does. We want it to scale and rotate the last part. I hope that makes sense there. Well, what do we have to do? So let's do a little if-then. If GV go, which is the on-off switch that I have, if it's equal to 1, when we cut our switch on, we don't want a delay. We want it to immediately scale and rotate. But if it's not equal to 1, so otherwise, what do we want to do? We want to wait for it to complete GV fall, plus we want to wait for it to complete the GV horizontal scroll, plus we want to wait for it to complete the GV center scroll. And I think, oh, parentheses mismatch, just one extra parentheses there. So if the switch is on, we don't want to delay at all, but if the switch is off, we want to reverse it. So we have to wait for it to complete the fall, complete the horizontal scroll, and complete the center scroll. It's completing those 3 to get back to this one. So now that isn't going to do anything. All right, I need to go and do this. I'm going to go ahead and apply this for all the other delays as well. So for rotate, I tell you what, let me go back to scale out because I want it to have the same delay. So I'm going to copy and paste this stuff. And I didn't want to do all this at one time before I made the video because I wanted you to see how I'm applying these delay codes. So let's back out. Let's go to the rotate. Its delay, same code because we want to do the scale and rotate from the beginning at the same time. So let's paste that in there. All right, now what do we want to do? For scroll, this is the center scroll. Remember, let me come down here to duration. Notice that I'm focusing on my center scroll right now. But for its delay, I already have a delay set up. Now, this is going to be if GV go is equal to 1. When our switch is cut on, we do want it to wait until we complete the scale and rotate before it does the center scroll. But what about if the switch is off? So otherwise, we want to wait for it to complete GV fall, and we want to wait for it to complete the GV horizontal scroll. So once it completes those two pieces, then it's going to do the center scroll. And you're going to see all this come to life right here in a second. Because as you can, a while ago, if you recall, the reverse animation was not working. The delay that we're going to do here is going to fix that. All right, so that was this one. Now let's go to the horizontal scroll, making sure I'm at the right spot. The duration, I'm in my horizontal scroll. So let's go to its delay. Now, the code that we have here, remember, the horizontal scroll, when GVGO is equal to 1, so if GVGO is equal to 1, we want to wait for it to scale and rotate and complete the center scroll. Now, what about when the switch is off? The only thing we have to wait for when we reverse this animation is we want to wait until the GV fall is complete. And once GV fall is complete, it's going to do the horizontal scroll backwards. We're reversing the animations here. And then, last but not least, the actual fall, the one that I had the bounce set to. That's how you see that little bounce here on the end. If I go down to its delay, remember, the fall is like the last thing we want to happen if GVGO is equal to 1. So if GVGO is equal to 1, we want to wait for all of this junk. But if GVGO is not 1, meaning if the global switch is off, we don't want to delay at all. So 0 delay. Now, this red thing should be reversing. Let's save this. Let's go back to the home screen. Here's our initial animation. And if I did this right, when I cut the switch off, it should do boom, boom, and then some crazy stuff inside of here. Let's see if it works. All right. And the only thing about that, maybe you noticed it, but it did the reverse bounce. If you want to take that off, I'm just going to leave it up here because I could turn this into an hour-long video. But you can do a code on your bounce. See that? All right, so we kind of got, I mean, again, it's not the same as the video that I had back here, but I'm getting the same basic ideas across to you, hopefully. All right, here we go. So next piece, let's create a new global let's create a green one. So green. And the good news is we don't have any other crazy globals to create. I do have some other things to show you in regards to the fade, because I don't know if you noticed in the video that I did earlier that it did the color did transition as it went to the center. I'm going to cover that towards the end, but for now I want to just roll with this. I think this is the best way to approach this, at least. So let's copy, let's paste, and we're going to do the same type of stuff, but we do have some fine tuning to do as well. So green. Let me come in here to the small. I'm going to change its color to green. And now what we're going to have, let me see. There we go. See? Now we have the green one. But the green and the red are pretty much doing the same thing. Well, we definitely need to fix that. So first of all, since I'm inside of my green, I want to go to small, and its position is going to be the same position as that red one. Well, now I don't want the green to be at the top. I want it to be over here to the right. So I'm going to do center right. That's going to change some things. Let's see what we have going on now. All right, so let's get this rolling. Boom. All right, so now we definitely need to put that green back to the center. Now how can we do that? Here's what we're going to have to do. Alright, back in my overlap group green. Animation, the scale out and the rotate I'm good. But the scroll, this is going to be the center scroll. To show you that for duration, this is the center scroll. I don't want it to scroll down. Remember that red one was scrolling down? I want it to scroll this way. So all I should have to do to fix that is change my angle to 180, I believe. Let's see what happens. Let's wait for it to do all this magic. And let's see what we got here. Boom. Okay, see that? You see how the green went that way instead of the green going down? So I fixed that part. Now we want to do the horizontal scroll, which is going to be the second one that I have here. Let me make sure I'm in horizontal scroll. Yes. Which way do we want this one to go? I want the green to come out to, let's see, let's make it come over about this far. Now this is going to be that part where, if you recall, when I had the red one going out to here, I had its speed set to 45. Well, if we go 45 this way and 45 this way, we're actually taking, because we're going to have to make some of them go this way in a minute. That's going to be 90 if you think about it in all. And if we take 90 and we break it up into 3 pieces, and you might say, well, hey, we're going to have 4 colors. But actually there's going to be 3 sections, because we have a color here, color here, color here, color here. Well, that's going to be a gap in between here, a gap in between here, and a gap in between here. If I take this green one and I set its speed to 30, kind of just go with it for right now. Let's see what this does. Let's reverse everything. Boom. And as you can see, okay, 30 is, no, that's way too much. My bad. I needed to set that to 15. Because 15 is going to put it right about here, and then when we come over here and put another one on this side, it's going to look like they're all pretty much equally spaced. And I mentioned that earlier. Pick a speed that you can divide by 3, since we're doing 4 colors and we're going to have 3 sections between those 4 colors. So let me set this back to 15. That should make it pretty much equally spaced. All right, so let's have a look. Now you may say, well, that looks close to this centerpiece. But what's going to happen is when we shoot one over here, it's going to put the same gap. It should pretty much put the same gap here between these 2 pieces that we have over there. And then what else do we need to do? Horizontal scroll, the fall. I'm not going to mess with the fall right now, but we can delay that a little bit if we want the green to be a little bit slower. However, I'm not going to do that yet, because that's going to be a lot more craziness going on. So let's save this. Let's go back to the home screen and see what we got so far. Okay, now when we reverse this, what's going to happen? Oops, I need to press that. Okay, cool. Now, before I go any further, all these GVs, SAR, send scroll, horizontal scroll, we can go in here and adjust these, and everything should be working nicely together. Maybe you want the horizontal scroll to be a lot faster. And maybe you want the center scroll to be a little bit slower. And maybe you want the scale and rotate to be a little bit slower. So this is going to be 2 seconds. It's going to take it 2 seconds to do all this stuff. Then it's going to scroll to the center in 1 second, but then it's going to zoom out very quickly for horizontal scroll. Let's save this. Let's go back to the home screen. Notice this is a little bit slower. That's slower. Boom. That shoots out a lot faster. And then the fall, I can make it fall slower as well. If you want to make it fall slower, we come down and adjust the GV fall. I'll make this thing last for 3 seconds. But notice it's adjusting the green and the red, and also our reverse animations should work as well. See how much slower it fell, and it's bouncing slower too. Now watch the reverse. Kind of interesting, huh? All right. Now let's just go through here and repeat this process. What's another color that we want to do? How about yellow? So something like that. Now what we're going to have to do with the yellow one, once I copy and paste green, rename it, All right, so we had a red, green. Let's put yellow at the bottom. So I'm gonna go change its color and go to position, and I'm gonna do bottom. So now what we should have is a red, a green, a yellow, and then we're gonna have to go and adjust these animations of each individual piece. So animation, scale out and rotate, I should be good with that. For the scroll, since the yellow is going to be down here at the bottom because I have it positioned at the bottom, I want it to scroll to 70. 270 is going to make it go vertical in this case. So angle, I'm going to change this to 270. Everything else should be, or for the scroll, that scroll should be good. All right, now, remember how we had the red and the green going this way? I want yellow to go this way, kind of about the same speed the green did. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to go, and let me think. Okay, 0, so I need to go 180. I need to do 180 to make the yellow go this way. So not delay, I don't want to mess with the delay. I want to do the angle. So that's 180. And I think that's it. Because that was the horizontal scroll. And then the fall, I don't need to do anything with that. Let's save it. Let's have a check. Boom, boom. Yep. And see, check it out. Look at the spacing between these. See how it's pretty much the same? And everything should reverse quite nicely. Yep. And since we can see, I mean, that white circle that I have there, I don't know why I didn't delete this sooner, but remember I was talking about that white circle in the center is there just to be a template. I can take that away. And what are we ready for now? One more color. Let's do a blue. And what type of blue do we want? Something like that looks good. All right, and then now, since let me see how I want to do this here. It don't really matter which one I copy. I just got to remember what, I'm going to copy the yellow. So copy, paste, let's name this one blue. Now let's remember what yellow's doing and how we have to change blue. All right, remember the yellow, we had it at the bottom. So the blue, so we got red, green, yellow, blue needs to be, so I'm going to go to small circle and go to its paint. I'm going to change this to blue. Go to position, and remember the yellow was at the bottom, so I need to do the blue at the center left. That way I have boom, 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 boom. And animation, scale out, rotates good. Scroll, now the blue is going to be over here. To make it scroll center, we need to go to, I believe, 0 degrees. So angle, I'm going to set it down to 0 for scroll center. So once it scrolls center, then we want to do a horizontal scroll. So it's going to go scroll center, then it's going to pop back out here because this is the only spot I haven't filled in. I got a red, I got a green, I got a yellow. I want my blue to pop out to here. So I need to go and do, its angle is still 180 because I'm duplicating that yellow. The yellow went 180, 15, but now I need to go 45 for this blue one. And I think everything should be good. See that? Now the only thing, okay, if I bring back up this video and I play this, you're going to notice some slight differences. So we pretty much got the same thing. This is a lot faster now, but what you may notice here is that the fall, they were all kind of slightly different. Well, we're going to have to be careful with that. So how do we fix that? How do we add those slightly different falls to give it, you know, just a little bit more added flavor to the animation, if you will? Well, there's a little bit more. There's not a lot of crazy coding we're going to have to do. We'll leave the red alone the way it is. For green, let's go to its animation. And let's go to where we have the fall occurring. That's going to be that last one that I have here. And let's see. Okay, the duration. Remember we have it called GV fall? Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to make the falls different. But when we reverse it, we're just going to let them all be the same in that case. But let's do this. If GV go is on, if it equals 1, we want this one to fall a little bit, let's say, let's do a percentage because we don't want to do GV fall minus 1. Let's do 0.5 times GV fall. So if the switch is on, this one's going to fall faster than whatever GV fall is. Remember, the red one's going to be just GV fall. I'm not going to change anything about the red one. So this green one that I have here, it's going to be falling faster. It's going to be falling in half the time that the red one's going to be falling. Otherwise, when the global switch is off, I want to return it back to GV fall. And the reason why, when we reverse these animations, we want everything to be in sync when it does do this whole reversal piece. That probably don't make sense to you, but when it reverses and those balls bounce back up, we want all those to bounce back up at the same. That way everything's going to sync back up when it does the horizontal scroll and when it does the rotating and the scaling and all that. But when it initially falls, we can have these falling at different speeds. And we can just go in here and add a little code like this to our duration. So I'm going to check that. Now this green one is going to fall a little bit faster than what the red one does. And we're doing it based on a percentage, like half the time. All right, what about the yellow? So let's go to yellow, let's go to its animation, let's go down to where its fall is. So here's our fall. Duration, let's make this one if GV go is equal to 1. Let's make it fall a little bit slower than the red one. That way we can get all these different transitions between them. Let's do this one, let's do 1.2 times GV fall. But when we cut the switch off, when we reverse our animations, again, we want GV fall to be the reverse duration. That way they all sync back up when we reverse our animations. So this one's going to fall slower. The duration is going to be a little bit longer. And then the blue one, let's go to its fall, and let's make this one fall a little bit faster. Oops, that's my delay. I don't want to mess with that. That's why I don't want to go back and adjust that delay code. That's why I'm doing this little if-then code right here. So if GV go is equal to 1, what did I say I want this to do? It'll fall a little bit faster. Let's do 0.8 times GV fall. So it's going to fall a little bit faster. But then these are all going to be different speeds. Now, if the switch is off, we still want it to be GV fall for the duration. All right, let's save this, and let's see what we got now. We should have different fall speeds. See that? Pretty cool, huh? Now that I've done it based on a percentage instead of adding and subtracting, if you do it based on a percentage, that way you don't get some type of negative number. It's always going to be a positive number based on our global GV fall. So if I go over to globals, and suppose I want this thing to fall faster. All right, so GV fall is going to be 1.5 seconds. Well, the green one's going to be faster than that. The red's going to fall in 1.5 seconds. This one's going to do it in half the time. So that's going to be 7.5, which is 75% of a second. This one was 1.2 times GV fall. So it's going to be a little bit, this is going to be the slowest falling one. And then blue is not going to fall as fast as the green, but it's still going to fall faster than these other two if you're not confused yet. But that's based on me doing a percentage or a fraction of whatever GV fall is. So now watch how, let's go ahead and add, well, I'm saving that, go back to my home screen. Let's see how the falls look now. See that? They all look different. All right, so let's go into KLWP. Now let's adjust a few more things to show you what we got going on here. Number of rotations, if you want it to be, less rotations, we can put it down to 1 rotation, because in the rotation, how much rotation it does, I put GV numrot times 100, so 1 times 100, it's going to do 1 rotation. Let's do this in 1 second. Let's do the center scroll real quick, and let's do horizontal scroll even faster. This is going to be a faster animation, much faster than what we had a moment ago because I knocked all these times down. Let's see what we got here. Boom, 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 boom. See how much faster that is? But now we definitely want to come in here and adjust this to where it looks a little bit smoother. So maybe the horizontal scroll, not so fast. So that is 6. Let's do number of rotations. Let's bump this up to 4. Let's see what we got going on with that. I got to reverse all this stuff. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. 4 rotations. That's not bad. Maybe GV fall a little bit quicker. So let's bump this down to 10. And let's see what we got. Now, maybe you notice the initial piece, but all I'm doing, once you get past all the crazy coding and stuff like that, it's just a matter of you adjusting your number globals. So 4 rotations, let's make it last a little bit longer. That way we can actually see the rotations. How about 3 seconds? It's going to take 3 seconds to scale and rotate, and it's going to do those 4 rotations in 3 seconds. See, that's a little bit better. If we make it a little bit longer, we could even see it more. But there you go, boom. And yeah, there you have it. You know, the one piece I'm missing out from this is actually it would take another 15-20 minutes, and I'm already approaching the 40-minute mark. But the piece that I'm missing is where all the pieces like change into that purple. It would involve you having to create 4 more of those, like a red, green, blue, and yellow, and you have to change those to purples, and you have to have them fading in and fading out. Like I said, I'm approaching the 40-minute mark, and hopefully you do have a good idea of how to get these things to work based on number globals and how to reverse those things based on delays. And there you have it. That's a somewhat thorough tutorial on how I did the black hole animation, and that is it for this video. I hope it helped.